Peace and welcome. Today we have some of the worst video game themes of all time. If you wonder what we mean by the worst, then just think of the most disgusting and vile sounds that have been ever featured in a game, and you might find it on this list. As always, we do have a few guidelines to help us narrow it down. Number 1. No pop songs. We will be staying away from music that you might hear on the radio. For example, John Madden Football or Grand Theft Auto. Number 2. Original tunes only. No renditions and no covers of songs that were previously made. For example, the national anthem and Double Dribble. Number 3. It cannot be made bad on purpose. If we think they made it bad just to get some attention, we will disqualify it. And I am looking at you, Crazy Bus. The game must be released and licensed. It's easy to be bad when the game was never completed or if it's just some bootleg. Number 5. One per franchise. So, let's get this underway. Our top 10 worst video game themes.
I wanna take you for a ride. I wanna take you for a ride.
Number 10. Sonic Chronicles: The Dark Brotherhood. Nocturne. This low-quality theme squeaks into our top 10 pretty easily. This one really hits home because the first few Sonic games all had really good music. The Nintendo DS was capable of much more than this. So if you think it's an issue with the hardware, here is a theme from another DS game, Final Fantasy IV. If you ever wonder what happened to Sonic, because it did fall on hard times for a while, one of the first things you can look into would be the music. Music is an important part, but an often overlooked part. I'm not saying a good soundtrack will turn a terrible game into a good game, but it can turn a good game into a great game. Number 9. Friday the 13th. Jason Attacks. So this is one of the most repetitive pieces of music to ever exist. There is a bass line that goes back and forth slowly between two notes, and then these two notes on top that are even quicker but still just go back and forth between two notes. Thanks to Scotty the Great for recommending this, I guess. But don't blame me that I will spend the rest of my life trying to avoid this theme. This is like a basic version of the Jaws theme, but that has a tempo change and a payoff. This has a 2-second loop with 2 notes played fast and 2 notes played slow.
I wanna take you for a ride. I wanna take you for a ride. I wanna take you for a ride.
Number 8. Marvel vs. Capcom 2. Character Select.
I wanna take you for a ride. I wanna take you for a ride. I wanna take.
What else can you say besides this theme is repetitive? And it's the character select theme, so you are greeted with this 7-second loop again and again and again. She wants to take you for a ride, and she's going to tell you about it non-stop. This theme is so bad that people have modded the game's library and replaced it with their own music. I used to work in an arcade when this game came out, and I can honestly say I was sick of this song after the first day. That was like 20 years ago, and I'm still sick of it.
I wanna take you for a ride. I wanna take you for a ride. I wanna take
Number 7, 1942, stage background music. I think I know what they were going for here. It feels like they're going for one of them army chants, but with the limits of the hardware, it just becomes this noise with no rhythm or harmony. It's just an annoying sound. I want to say bland, but it's too annoying to be bland. The reason it's not higher on our list is just because there does seem to be some sort of idea here. It just didn't translate well to the NES. You can find this same theme in the arcade version, and at least you can tell what they are trying to do. Number 6, Bram Stoker's Dracula, Nighttime Scene 2. This theme is the 8-bit version of a nightmare. I might even call it the audio version of anxiety. Like this might actually be unhealthy for people to listen to. You know how they say plants can grow better with good music? Well, this just might kill your plants. And oh, it does wonders for human ears, because you might want to use that wooden stake on your ears before you go use it on Dracula. About 30 seconds into the track, somewhat of a melody appears, but that backtrack is already established and is way too strong to be overpowered by a little addition. If this track had a scent, I guarantee it would keep Dracula away, because this is the equivalent of hot spoiled garlic and a pile of rubbish. Number 5, Pokemon Gold and Silver, Dragon's Den. This Pokemon theme does have a bit of urgency to it. An urgency to mute the game when this decides to play and kick my eardrums in with not only vomit-inducing, but just some of the most ear-piercing sounds any Game Boy has ever produced. It sounds like you took a Game Boy, threw it down a flight of stairs, then picked it up and played the game with shreds of Game Boy sticking out and cutting up your hands. And that experience would still beat listening to this theme. Anyone who has ever owned a Walkman knows what it sounds like when the batteries are about to die. The music gets slower and slower until finally it comes to a stop. This Pokemon theme reminds me of a dying Walkman. Number 4, Terminator The Sewer. Good old Terminator on the NES. I think a lot of people will know this theme and just how bad it really is. It's one of the most repetitive themes I have ever heard. To make this, all you have to do is hit one note again and again. Then later on in the song, throw a bass line that consists of an entire 2 notes. You can listen to this entire theme and hear a grand total of 3 notes. They did attempt to add some hi-hats over the rest to try and give it some sort of resemblance to an actual theme, but instead it's just an audio simulation of banging your head on the wall, which, come to think of it, probably has more octaves than this damn theme. Number 3, Silent Hill, My Heaven. It's called My Heaven, but this is my hell. It sounds like a swarm of bugs, like someone was sitting in a mosquito-infested area while trying to make some music, and they thought, man, the sound of those mosquitoes, that's perfect for this game. Or if anyone has ever tried to find a radio station with a radio that has a knob, if you spin the knob real fast, you can go through a bunch of radio stations all at once. It kind of sounds like this theme. Why even put drums in the background? The sounds have no tempo, no beats per minute, so why are you even trying to force it at this point? Just give us the swarm of bugs and call it a day. Number 2, Resident Evil, Director's Cut, the DualShock version, Mansion Basement. Now this one is funny because I didn't know a digital synthesizer could get out of tune, but apparently I'm wrong, and very wrong. With the guitar, it makes sense, the strings can stretch after being used, but how in the world do you do that with a keyboard? It sounds like a cat walking across the keyboard and stepping on random notes. What makes this one even worse is the original theme was just fine, and it really didn't need to be changed. I honestly don't know why they wanted to change it. The original fit the mood, it was creepy, and it built up the anticipation. But the new one sounds a little bit like a kid who just got a keyboard for his birthday, so he's mashing all of the keys because he doesn't really know how to play anything. And we do have a few honorable mentions. Number 1, Galaxy 5000, Racing in the 51st Century, World background music. In the early days of MP3s, Some of the low quality encoders would almost have a glossy sound or an underwater sound, and that's the first thing I think of when I listen to this theme. An MP3 that was messed up during the encoding process. It feels like there's a theme behind all of those glitches trying to get out. I also get the feeling that we are only listening to the right channel, while the left channel is completely missing, so we only have half of a song. But that's not what happened here. This is how it sounds. Like an alien droid that got short-circuited, and now all it can do is spit out incomplete sayings about being put down and put out of its misery. One thing that I'd like to say before we end this episode, we don't mean any disrespect to the composers, it's just for fun, and it's all just opinions anyways. Some of the greatest musicians have written terrible songs. The greatest quarterbacks have thrown interceptions, the greatest hitters in baseball strike out. Michael Jordan missed free throws, but you have to take a shot to make a shot. As a producer myself, I know some of my songs aren't great, but the key is to learn from the mistakes and make the next theme even better. There are plenty of really bad themes out there, so this video may require a part 2. We will leave it up to the viewers, and of course, any oddly familiars that happen to be watching our top 10s. Up next, we will have our top 10 forest themes. And don't confuse it with jungle, that will be another time. Big shout out to our first gold level patron, Zero Briggs. Anyways, from now until then, I am ICC. Thanks for watching. Peace.